This next video is for clinicians, scientists, and doctors, and those of you who want to take your knowledge of disease and how it happens in our bodies to the next level. I actually created this as something called the sweet cycle of death. It all starts with the standard American diet. We all know what that is: high carbs, low fat, ultra processed food-like substances stored in plastic and then microwave just for good measure, right? That all boosts our insulin, creates something called hyperinsulinemia, right? That which pushes and packs sugar into our cells, creating supersaturation of glucose intracellularly. What does that mean? We got too much sugar inside our cells. It's actually coming out, causing the liver through de novo lipogenesis to become fatty, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And then we get what's called lactic acidosis, which is static, toxic, hypoxic, acidic blood. What does that mean? It means static blood. It's not moving because it's inflamed. It's inflamed. Why? Because it's toxic. What does toxemia do? It breeds inflammation like white fat. And then white fat does what? It blocks the way the organs work. It causes inflammation that brings out cholesterol. Cholesterol throws infarcts. And if it's in the heart, that's a myocardial infarction. If it's in the head, it's a stroke, right? And so what's the second part? That's hypoxic, less oxygen, less than 97% oxygen. That wakes up bugs. What kind of bugs? Yeast, fungus, mold, bad bacteria, virus, and yes, even cancer. They're all anaerobic. What does that mean? They live without oxygen. They love hypoxia. What about acidity? Acidity bleeds through the arteries, but Dr. Gregor, we can't go less than 7.34 from arterial blood gas. I'm not talking interstitial. I'm not talking intracellularly. I am talking interstitially, and that fluid around the cells can and does get as low as 4.5 pH, which is super acid, which bleeds through arteries, which then again, we might have a deep bleeding in our abdominal, we have abdominal artery bleeding, right? An aneurysm. We might get it in the eyes, diabetic retinopathy. I thought in the feet, yeah, we bleed out in the feet down there too. We can get diabetic neuropathy. And of course, a hemorrhagic stroke. Those are all examples of bleeding. And then bleeding, blocking in bugs leads us to what? Diabesity, where we have diabetes and obesity in combination, and ultimately we leave this planet with large medical bills because we die in pieces. And so that is the sweet cycle of death. Now, how can we remedy all that? Well, we can do that with our insulin diet by putting ourselves in ketosis. That stops the sugar from coming in. What about the sugar that's already in? We fast, and then that stops insulin from coming out. That depletes our sugar stores. That burns off the excess fat, especially the white fat. Insulin keto does burn white fat and leaves brown fat because that's the fat that keeps us warm and is already metabolically active. So then we end up being thinner, healthier. We have a longer, lovelier, more vitalic life, all because we now know the insulin diet is the key to getting our bodies back healthier and happier. And thank you for your time and attention.